But they did let me know that there is no sound. Okay, so I know they should hear us now. If you can hear the sound now, Brother Noble Brian, let me know that you can hear me. And I apologize to our family. Pardon, 1,000 pardons, so to speak. So, okay, gratitude. Okay, so again, we gonna reiterate this for our people as we showed the definition. Now that you can hear us, again, we were speaking on the definition of the word postulate, which deals with to suggest or assume the existence, fact, or truth of something as a basis for reasoning, discussion or belief. And I know y'all read it, so y'all pretty much seen what was being set out here. And, in ecclesiastical law, we are dealing with the aspect of nomination and election. And we spoke on this a few minutes ago before we found out we were muted, that our authority is delegated by the great God. So we don't even have to be elected, nominated by man. It's the great God Allah who chooses. When you have those who are set out to raise a people up or teach a people, it's the great God Allah that has delegated that divine authority. And we find out that going beyond it being a verb used in the sense of a verb, this is actually dealing with the noun. This is where one is assuming the form that the great God Allah sees is fit, in order to teach a people, in order to lead a people, in order to guide a people. So we are going beyond the spookism aspect again, where you praying for what it is that you can't see, so to speak. You see, and you see the reality of God as he manifests his attributes through a man. And that's what the postulates, the 7 postulates represented. Each sage manifested, not only with a postulate of law, dealing with the truth, but they had to be the truth. They had to assume the form of this law in the manifest before they can teach it to man, as a basis for his reasoning, as a basis for discussion, as a basis of bringing him beyond the level of belief in the faith into fruition. You see? So when we understand this, and we understand that man is chosen under what we call a heavenly mandate, then we understand the reasoning behind how he becomes who he is in his divine ministry. You see? And this is not even just man, but sisters as well. Goddesses and queens, they also have a station when it comes to coming forth and teaching and guiding the people. So when we deal with the meeting of the 7 sages to make laws for the coming nations, they had to realize when the great God Allah made them, he made them a law to manifest among their people. If you are one that is conscious in this new era and time, then you may be one that is actually in your consciousness, Moorish kin. You may be one that is the only one in your family that's demonstrating this. You see? And it ain't strange that you are the only one that is demonstrating this. You were chosen. And that's why you have been enlightened with the wisdom to be able to exercise your reasoning along these lines. You're the chosen. You are the one that have been, endued, so to speak, with postulate of law to bring your people, out of whatever it is of a lack of order or some chaos that they may be in. That's your duty. That's your obligation. Whatever talent that you have, that is a part of the postulate that you have to manifest. So we look at this in the same light when it comes to dealing with the coming age for the nations. Each postulate, these 7, were chosen in ancient time to be the seventh of time to their particular people. And so you too are the seventh of time to your people. The great God Allah chose you from your bloodline. You know, so when we go into this and we understand that it is through the lineage, your genealogy, so to speak, that those who come behind you, they continue what it is that has been postulated through your manifestation, just as you continued, you know, whoever it was, your father that had come before you, or your grandfather, your great grandfather, sisters, your mother that has come before you, your grandmother, your great grandmother, and so forth and so on. You are the one that is on the manifest in this new era and time to be the God that your people can see, to be the God, you know, that your divine lineage can see on the manifest. We don't say this in a blasphemous way, because we're not speaking in the aspect of associating ourselves as a partner with God. Because as we stated today in one of our meetings, you know, there is no partnership in divine unity. Partnership deal with people that came together in agreement based upon worldly business. But when you're dealing with divine unity, there's nothing but oneness. So when we talk about, you know, being one with the great God, we're not speaking in the aspect of associating ourselves as a partner with the great God. We are speaking of ourselves in the aspect of being one with the great God. Make no mistake about it. So every postulate, no matter when they came throughout any climb or time, to bring something to man, to uplift man, to change the condition of man, they were always one with the great God. If their will was not one with the deific will, then surely they would have not been able to accomplish the things that they carried out. I don't care what it is that you set out to do. If your will is not in union with the universal order of things, if your will is not in union with the great God Allah, if you have not conformed to the will of the supreme reality, you know, then it may manifest what you are trying to accomplish, but it ain't gonna manifest outside of the appointed time that the great God Allah has for it to manifest itself. Let's put it that way. This is what we have to understand about these seven sages that made laws for the coming age of the nations in the past, in order to understand the work that we too have been called to do in this new era and time. Praise be to Allah. Islamism without the schism. So we understand that the sages, they read the story of the life of man, of all his struggles, losses, and gains in the light of past events. You know, they understood the needs and they saw what would be best for him in their coming years. And they knew the kind of law and precepts, we are told, suited to their state of man. And they saw the highest Allah ideal that the race could comprehend. So each sage had to represent the highest Allah ideal that the race could comprehend. They had to assume the form of God as a representative to their people. This is the proper way that we understand, you know, the great God and how he works. Again, this ain't dealing with spookism. This is no hokum pokum, send you out there into oblivion demonstration. We are saying that when the great God sought to manifest himself to man, he always manifested himself to man clearly. We even talk about the time when he sat down with Ibrahim or Abraham, and he came physically, you know, to manifest himself to his people. I didn't say that. That's what the book said. So when we talk about spirit clothed with soul made in the form of Allah, when we talk about the thought of Allah made manifested in the flesh, when we talk about a prophet being the thought of Allah made manifested in the flesh, when we talk about an angel being the thought of Allah manifested in the flesh, a spirit being the thought of Allah made manifested in the flesh. It should all be made plain and clear. Arm, leg, arm, head. This is the highest Allah ideal that the race can comprehend at the time. Allah don't make no mistakes, so he know what he doing when he send a people, a particular one, or a guide, an adept, a mastermind, a master teacher, a guru, a sage. He know exactly what he doing. So those of you who are divine ministers in the Moorish American government, it is not by chance that you yourself have become divine ministers as well. And we are not speaking in the aspect of getting all churchy, and going to church and, because we're not here to preach you. We're here to teach you, into the reality of knowing who the great God is. And that way you know how to reach out to him. So upon the 7 postulates, we are told that these sages were to formulate the law of life in the coming age, that souls may rest. The same souls that are resting upon the postulates become those who were chosen again to be the 7th of the time to their people. We can't reiterate this any more than we already have. So the 7 postulates is not something where we speaking of something so mystical that it is outside of your reach. The 7 postulates are on the manifest right here in this Moorish American government. In fact, the Moorish American government has 7 postulates when we deal with what we call Act 1. And that empowerment includes the backing of the prophet along with the citizens. If they recognize wisdom, will, and love, the triune Allah being expressed in the officials or the executive rulers of the Moorish American government, but then as a microcosmic expression within the consulates from state to state, the way that we set this out and we lay down the foundation is that there are 7 per state. 7 postulates. And they are to formulate the law based upon the supreme laws that have been given, in this age where we all rest upon the 7. So each postulate has, again, a talent. They have something that it is that they are to manifest. You were born to do this, meaning that no man can hinder you from doing this because this is a part of your destiny. You were predestined. This was written in the book of Lawhi al-Mahfuz, as they would call it in Islam. The book of predestination. The book of creative fate, according to the Moorish Circle 7. It was even written in the mother books, al-Kitab. You see? That you would be on the manifest in this particular time, and you would be on the manifest doing this particular work. So each and every one of us, again, have a particular talent that is tailor-made for us when it comes to solving the fix of the world, solving the fix of ourselves, and solving the fix of our people, be it their tribe, be it a nation, be it an empire, and so forth and so on. So you got to get in where you fit in. Because that postulate that you were born to manifest, it came with you. But we, in most cases, get so caught up into trying to demonstrate or postulate, so to speak, upon what it is that someone else has brought forth, to where we lose our saving power. And what is the saving power of a Moorish American Muslim? It comes through the lineage of our forefathers. It is, it was, and it is ever more to be. It's a good thing. It's great because Allah is great. The great God is the great God. And as soon as we remove ourselves from the ego of what we think we know, the sooner it is that the sage of this age within your consciousness, within you, above your neck, will manifest to become your guide. Allah is what? Your protector, your guide, and your salvation through your holy prophet. But your holy prophet is still working from the plane of soul. How do you reach him in the plane of soul? In chapter 1 of the Moorish Holy Quran, we are told that spirit, again, is what we call it. If we are dealing with the aspect of why creative fate gave to spirit man a soul, it is so that he may function upon the plane of soul. Why did he give him a body of flesh? Or they give him a body so that he may function upon the plane of things made manifest. So what it is that you are able to function with in spirit upon the plane of soul, the wisdom that you are able to gain by ascending into the heights of your divinity and communicating with your ancestors, Prophet Noble Drew Ali being one among the many, you can gain contact with your ancestors, speak to your ancestors, reason with your ancestors, and bring what it is that you receive from your ancestors back to the plane of things made manifest. See, they don't teach you this openly in the church. They don't teach you this openly in the masjid. They don't teach you this openly in the temple or the saint of God. But we gonna give it to you straight. We ain't here to hide nothing from you. We gonna manifest the law of life in this demonstration. So just as each postulate, understood certain things about their people, they knew where their people were along the way. They knew what they were thinking. How do you think it is that Mingsti, which was the oldest among the sages, the elder, he took the chair of chief? He was the one that was sitting at the head. He said, man is not far enough to advance to live by faith. That's because he understood by observing his people that they wasn't ready to deal with even the degree of faith. And that's coming out of belief. He understood that his people couldn't comprehend the things that they couldn't see with their physical eyes. He understood that his people was like a child. And during all coming age, that man being like a child, he must be taught by pictures, symbols, rites, and forms. So his God must be a human God. He couldn't see Allah by faith. He had to see the postulates and the law of the great God manifest in man, through man. That's what we say. Allah speaks to man through man. This is why when people look at, even the hieroglyphics, because we're dealing with people, places, and things, this is why men had to be taught by pictures, symbols, rites, and form. But these things had to manifest in man, through man. Spirit clothed with soul, again, made in the form of Allah. The thought of Allah made manifested in human flesh. They don't teach you this in the Piscean records, of what a lot of people like to call the Bible, and we call basic instruction before leaving earth. Your earth-like thought pattern. They don't teach you this openly. Again, when they teach you, the literal meaning of the Grand Quran. It's there. It's in both books. What do you think that it means in the Bible? When it states, know you not that you are the temple of God and the spirit of God that dwelleth within you, which temple you are. And we call it the temple of perfected man in the Moorish Holy Quran. What do you think we mean when we talk about Allah, in Surah 15, and he said that he was going to create a man. And when he breathed into that man of his spirit, he told the angels to fall down into obeisance unto him. In other words, he told them, make sajda, prostrate toward this man. And I make emphasis on this because this is a real serious deal when you're talking about Orthodox Islam, man. But they say you don't supposed to pray or prostrate toward nothing but Allah. But if Allah is the one that has given, the declaration for the angels to prostrate toward man, then what is that saying? It should be self-explanatory. You see? In other words, he was telling you, are the angels not to bow down to the flesh? He was telling the angels to bow down to that which was of himself that he had placed in the man, his spirit. That was Allah. He said that he breathed Ruh Allah into him. Ruh Allah is the spirit of Allah. Make no mistake about it. This is why we say again, Allah speaks to man through man. We give praises to Allah for sending us Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And him actually teaching us so that we too could be able to comprehend properly. So, Mingsty was on point. He said, yeah, this man, he couldn't see Allah by faith. He had to be in a level to where he could see his God. He couldn't rule himself in this state. If he can't see the God, then he can't bear witness to the rule and the law that come from the God. How can you believe in the law of God and the rule of God when you can't see it? The king must rule and man must serve. This is the mindset. And even in this time, some of our people are still in age, even though we are far beyond the age that Mingsty was talking about in this postulate that he was manifesting. But he understood the nature of his people and where they were. Some of our people are still in the age of Pisces. They haven't crossed over into the age, of Aquarius, as they like to call it. We call it the age of benevolence. They haven't crossed over into the age of benevolence. So they are still looking for a king outside of them to rule them, unfortunately. So he went on and he said, well, the age that follows this would be the age of man, the age of faith again. In other words, faith is the evidence of things hoped for but unseen, as they would say in the Piscean records, right? That's how they quote it in some way, right? You believe this thing even though you can't see it. But the wise know that you have to be looking at creation and reading the book of creation to see its manifestation. In fact, so the age that follows this will be the age of man, a master of Allah's nature, M-A-N. Let's take the gender out of it. As we would say, a Moorish American national. So it also went on to say, in that blessed age, the human race will see without the aid of carnal eyes, will hear The soundless silent would know the spirit of Allah. There it is again. We can't make it plainer. So that's the age of faith, when you're able to see without the aid of your corner eyes. You ain't got to see it. You know the great God is on the manifest because his presence is omnipotent and he in you. You carry him everywhere you go. And you will know the spirit of the Almighty God, Allah, the seraphim that's mentioned in chapter 1 of our Moorish Holy Quran. The same spirit clothed with soul that is made in the form of Allah that you may assume at your own deific will. I hope I'm making myself plain. So it also mentioned the age that we was entering being a preparation age. And we know the age that comes after the age of preparation is the age of fulfillment. The age of fulfillment. So who is the fulfiller? It is you that must go through the preparation, and it is you that becomes the fulfiller of the deific will of the supreme reality to your people. So again, we ain't here to teach you about no spook. When we talk about the great God Allah, we're talking about the reality of the supreme being. And the same God being man that was mentioned in the book of Psalms. The same God being mentioned by Yehoshua himself when they sought to stone him in the Piscean records, according to it. And he said, isn't it not written in your law that ye are gods? Huh? We know that there's the supreme reality, great God. That's how we distinguish between us being extensions of him and him being the supreme reality. And if we want to really get fancy about it, then we just say Allah. You have to remember, it is stated in the Grand Quran that the 5 limbs of man will bear witness against him. That means whatever it is that you have done, with your hands that have caused harm to other people in your ways, acts, and deeds, that's going to bear witness to you when you drop this physical guard. Whatever you have thought, whatever you have looked upon, with contempt or lust or covetousness, whatever you have allowed to seep into your ears that has influenced you to do harm to anyone outside of yourself, to oppress man, to oppress woman, to oppress a child. All of these things you're going to be held accountable for. You're going to have to stand up and be held accountable for what you've done. See, this is how we get beyond the spookism and get to the reality when we talk about arm, leg, arm, head. Because that's the Allah that's going to judge you. Your own 5 limbs. Goodness gracious, it don't get no plainer than that, do it? So when you come into the age of fulfillment, this is where, one has basically come into the senior course. Because in the preparation age, we were told that all the schools had to be designed in a simple way that man may comprehend. You see? So we were told that man cannot originate, and the reason why man can't originate is because the great God Allah is the originator. He is the one that produced the original man from his original mind. So the man being a thought of Allah made manifested in human flesh, he couldn't be anything but love. He couldn't be anything but truth, peace, freedom, and justice. The attributes of the great God Allah. He couldn't be nothing but pure. because Allah ain't got no dirty thoughts. So he builds by patterns that he can see. The man does. This is why everybody always imitating somebody else outside theyself. And imitation is the highest form of flattery. So we ain't got no problem flattering, our holy prophet. He said, imitate I, your prophet, because he was the best example that had been raised up over here in the West that we could bear witness to. We didn't really know nothing about no Jesus. We didn't know nothing about Muhammad. We didn't know nothing about Moses, Abraham, and Noah. In essence, we know what the slave master taught us and what he told us, but we truly didn't have any knowledge of these men until one came forth being a pattern, representing a form of perfection in this new era in time. And he was the seventh of the time. When it comes to dealing with being the grand man, that was made manifest, that we may pattern ourselves after him. And if you here, and you're a Moorish American national, if you are a master of your nature, Allah's nature, all nature, then you cut from the same cloth of the original pattern. In the time of Mingsti, he said that the council had to carve out patterns for the coming age. They were very in tune with that their work was not limited to them being on the manifest. They understood that there will be those who come behind them. So they were making preparation. They thought so much of the people that would come behind them, that they were trying to set out law that would assure to their success. See, we have lost this ability to think at this level because we are thinking of the now. We are more concerned with our present concern, to where we can't see what it means to carve out patterns for those who come behind us. And if we could remove the ego and remove ourselves from the equation for a moment, because that's the truest way that you can allow the great God Allah to manifest, when you get out the way. Anything that you are doing, anything you set out to do, when you set out to build a thing, get out the way and let the great God Allah utilize you the way he will, to build it the way he will. If you have something that you want to bring to the people, even in the form of a lecture or measure, get out the way and assume the form of God and allow him to use you as a vessel to speak through you to those who are listening to you. It don't get no plainer than that. This is how you get outside again of the spooky ring of hokum pokum. So he understood, Mingsti understood that the sages, he said, we must formulate the gnosis. And gnosis is knowledge of the empire of the soul, which rests on seven. Anything that's built outside of the seven postulates, when it comes to us, our people, it won't be successful. And the seven is the most universal principle when it comes to dealing with mathematics, living mathematics that unite us as a whole. I don't care what group or organization it is, every last one of them, they honor the seven. If you think I'm playing, look at those who call themselves Hebrews. They honor the 7th day, don't they? Now, they may have a different conception of the 7th day than we do, but nevertheless, that's their postulate that is representing the 7. When it comes to dealing with us, we can go in many aspects of the 7. The 7 is very sacred to us. What do you think the circle 7 is? And it's the same thing when we deal with also going into the 7 in Islam, Orthodox Islam. The 7 is sacred there too. You got 7 articles. You got 7 oft repeated verses, just like in the Piscean records. You got 7 days of creation. And those days are mentioned subtly in the Grand Quran as well. But we look at those as periods and aeons of time as opposed to just one day as we look at days now, because we know a day with Allah is as if it were 1,000 years. So says the biblical text and the Quran. And the Quran even goes further because it also mentioned a day of Allah being 50,000 years. And y'all seen me go over this in the Damar Yuga calendar with you on numerous occasions. Though we know time never was when man was not. But we measure time by cycle ages. Cycle ages are points in historical activity that have to do with time when the God man is vibrating at the highest Allah ideal among the people at a particular time. It could have been over 300,000 years ago or 400,000. It could have been of 100,000 years ago. It could have been 50,000, 25,000, 10,000 years ago. But all of these periods or points in history represents a milestone in the journey of the race where the great God manifests himself to man through man. I didn't say that. That's what the Moorish Holy Quran said. And the prophet brought it. He brought that, not me. So all things from this level we learn in all things that each sage in turn formulates or forms a postulate. So you again have the duty, and I'm going to keep harping upon this until our people get it. You have to assume the God form, family. That's how you form the postulate, by assuming the God form to your people. To some of our people, you are the only God that they will be able to bear witness to. Imagine being on the bottom of a ship covered in blood and feces, and you crying out for God, and he right there next to you, and your brother and your sister, and all you have is each other. And the only thing that you all can think about, irregardless of what tribe you came from, irregardless of what nation you came from, irregardless of what you believed in, at that particular time on the bottom of that ship, all you could think of is getting to the top and freeing yourself from the chains of bondage. Whether we know it or not, we are there right now. Symbolically, our people are covered in blood and feces. They are chained to each other. They come from various different tribes or tribal thoughts. Their belief is in adversity to one another. Not because that's how the great God Allah intended us to remain, but he told us that he created us in different tribes and tongues that we may know one another. Can you see your brother beyond your tribal culture that you have chosen to adopt? Because many people are demonstrating their religious belief as a tribal culture. Can you see your brother beyond being a Hebrew? Hebrew, can you see your brother beyond being a Muslim? Muslim, can you see your brother beyond being a Christian? Christian, can you see your brothers beyond being what you are not? Because we all honor that 7. The 7 is the most universal principle throughout all of history and throughout all times and climes. That's why Noble Drew Ali chose the circle 7. And you got Moors that have said in the past, he didn't call, so he didn't say circle 7. How in the world are you going to say that right there when you got a divine constitution that tell you in 3 of the first points in Acts, you're opening something up with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Oh, and wait, according to the circle 7, what do you think the circle 7 is? So Minksy, he was the one to come forth and form that postulate. And he said, well, these postulates, that we getting ready to bring forth shall be the basis for the creeds of men until the perfect age shall come. Now, notice they all came from different walks of life. They came from different parts of the world. And they sat down to make law for the coming age. Can the Muslims do this? Can the Muslims sit down with Muslims amongst different sects of the Muslim first and foremost? But we got to look at what's going on in the house. Can the Muslim sit down with Muslims of different schools of thought? The prophet established one grand body, and that left after he left the manifest, if we be honest. And we got grand body in plural on the manifest now. Everybody saying they right. Everybody saying they teach love. Everybody saying they teach what the prophet do. But can they sit down with those outside of what it is that they believe to be the truth? In that love that they say they follow the prophet. Can they sit down in that truth, that peace, that freedom, and that justice that they say they learn from the prophet? Because if you demonstrate love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, then why is it that you are opposed to the oneness in love? Why is it that you are opposed to the oneness of the truth? Because the truth is the only thing that changed not. Why is it that you are in conflict when it comes to dealing with being peaceful? You can talk that noise and that mud all you want to, saying that's what you demonstrate, and you demonstrating the prophet teaching. But if you can't demonstrate love universally rather than, it's not Allah's love. If you can't demonstrate the truth universally, it's not Allah's truth. If you can't demonstrate peace universally, it's not Allah's peace. Because your peace has limitations upon it. Your peace, is limited according to who you like and who you don't like. That ain't Allah's peace. Your truth is limited to who you like and who you don't like. That ain't Allah's truth. Your love is limited to basically who you like. So that ain't Allah's love. So when we talk about some freedom and justice, when you can't respect somebody's freedom of mind and their freedom of thought, and you want to be the next slave master. If you ain't demonstrating the law's justice, then you demonstrating injustice. That's simple and plain. Stop faking. I'm talking to those who claim that they are Moors. And we ain't trying to be mean. We ain't demonstrating radical agitating. We ain't talking about no specific individual. We speaking in genuine. So if I stepped on your toes, then you should have had some steel toe boots on. So as we move forward, Minksty was on point. He was thinking about the creeds of men in plural. Until the perfect age shall come. And the perfect age is when man gonna be one. He don't need creeds in plural. The creeds become the creed. Huh? I didn't say it. The book said it. And the prophet brought that. So Minksty was the first to write in the postulates. And he said, well, all things are thought, and all life is thought activity. Goodness gracious. Now, many of us hear this, but what is thought activity? We definitely know it got to deal with some movement. Something is going on. Thought activity. All things are thought activity. Now it's up to you to determine what type of thought activity is vibrating through you. It can be the thought activity that leads to life or the thought activity that leads to death. Which one you want, the red pill or the blue pill? He said the multitude of beings are but phases of the one great thought. See what I'm talking about? Made manifest. When Allah makes thought manifest in oneness, his thought doesn't betray itself. So everything is moving according to Allah's providence. Lo, Allah is thought and thought is Allah. That's if you're thinking along the lines of the love thought. That's Allah's thought if it's a love thought. That's Allah's thought if it's truth, peace, freedom, and justice that's coming forth from that measure. That thought is Allah's thought. And thought is Allah himself. So each and every sage that came forth with their postulates coming behind that, they understood. And Video Potty said, well, I'm going to take this measure to a higher vibration. We ain't talking about just phases of the one great God thought made manifest. We talking about eternal thought being one. In essence, he says two. So though you see many thoughts being made manifest, is coming from the supreme thought. Without the thought of Allah, without his intelligent design, his design couldn't comprehend the heaven and the earth. Because in the Grand Quran, that's what we are told. He created, the heavens, the seven, then he rose, istawa. And moreover, his design comprehended the heavens and the earth. I didn't say that. That's what Allah said in the Grand Quran. I'm just quoting it. And when they breathe, a child is born. This child is love. They didn't say that this child was little Mikey. They didn't say that this child was little Bobby, Ronnie, Ricky, and Mike. We tapped into the new edition. We got to be a little humorous. It said that this child that came forth is love. So think about if we were to teach our seed before anything outside of the name that we gave them or the attribute that we gave them, that they are love. And we put that postulate in them. How do you think they would turn out? They would assume the form of love, wouldn't they? So we got to be careful what we teach. And so It is even stated here, and thus the triune Allah stands forth whom men call father, mother, or son. Goodness gracious. Now, we ain't even really paid attention to that too much. The triune Allah is a representation of father, mother, and son, man, woman, and child. The triune Allah is present in the family structure. Goodness gracious. That's going away from that spookism. When the love thought is present and the great thought is made manifest, when the eternal thought is one within your house, Muslims, man, woman, and child, mentioned in the 7th act. If you demonstrate that 7th act that we go over every night when we open up these meetings, that means a family structure that is firmly founded in this love thought between the mother, father, and the son. This is the presence of the triune Allah. This is the Allah that is present. The harmony between the mother, the father, and the son. And we see a lot of disharmony out there between our brothers and sisters now. We see a lot of disharmony between mother and son, mother and daughter, father and son, father and daughter. We see a lot of that. And that's by design, not by Allah's design, because we know who made us. So in other words, we can see Act 1 within the household. Listen, and thus the triune Allah stands forth whom men call father, mother, son. That's the triune Allah, not the Trinity, Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. The triune Allah represents the love that binds us. And we can see the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation right there. Children of one mother provided for, with one father provided for by his care, and the breasts of one mother have given you suck. Right there. That's in the postulate. It's postulated in the law. Listen now. This triune Allah is one, but like the one of light in essence is 7. So it's the 7, that this unity is contingent upon. And when the triune Allah breathes forth, lo, 7 spirits stand before his face. These are creative attributes. These are creative attributes. That's creative fate. Now it goes on to say, men call them lesser gods, and in their image they made man. That's the Elohim. So Casper followed that up, and he said, well, man was a thought of Allah, formed in the image of the septonate, clothed in the substance of soul. So look at how they are building off of each other. Each postulate is supporting the measure of the other, even though they have their own original thought. Everybody else talked about the oneness of thought. Now, Casper say, well, man was a thought of Allah formed in the image of the septonate. And that understanding came from what was stated by Vidyapati. The septonate represents, in all actuality, harmonious vibration. That's what the septonate really represents. Clothed in the substance of the soul. He went on, he said, well, his desires were strong. He sought to manifest on every plane of life. Goodness gracious. You mean to tell me man tried to manifest on the plane of plant, beast, of mineral, of protoplasm? Not just the ethers of his native plane? And man did manifest on all these planes in his state of being elemental. Protoplasm means first life form. That's where your atomic, different degrees come from. So yeah, man manifested on many different levels. He sought to do this. This is the journey. If you go into the book of Genesis, them 7 days represent man, starting at day 1. When it tells you that, darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Man was present then in his spirit form, and he manifested in his elemental form as protoplasm, and he came through various different measures on his pilgrimage into life. He took part in his creation, and he was right there with the Creator during his creation. Go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 8, and see what David said in there. I was present with you from the beginning, from the foundations of the earth. Before it was all brought forth, I was there. I didn't say that. That's what was said in the book. I'm just quoting it. And for himself, he made a body of ethers, of earthy forms, not earth form in singular, but plural. Through the ethers, he was able to cross the borderland at will and change form at will. So he descended to the plane of the earth. This is you, brothers. This is you, sisters, because ain't no gender in spirit. All that masculine and feminine stuff ain't got nothing to do with the spirit. That's why spirit can be clothed with soul and made in the form of Allah as man. And then by the same token, spirit can be the higher self, being the mother of virtues, justice, mercy, love, and right. There is no gender in spirit. But it is stated that in this descent, he lost his birthright. So this lets you know your birthright has nothing to do with a birth certificate. Because if you lost in your descent your birthright, then that means your birthright, your true birthright, is beyond the plane of things made manifest, and that which comes with the carnal reality. So your true birthright is being Lord of the plane of soul. And when you come into the manifest, Lord of the plane of things made manifest. But man lost harmony with Allah. And we told this in chapter 1. Because he chose to gratify his lower desires. And this is being spoken of, by Casper, as making discordant all the notes of life. That's that septet he was talking about. The harmony that should be in the oneness of the family through the triune Allah. They're discordant notes. So now, father has become deadbeat. Mother, has become unfit. And child has become disobedient according to society. Goodness gracious, it don't get no plainer than that. So where Allah at? What a triune Allah at now? Casper went on and said, inharmony and evil are the same. So if there's inharmony amongst the family, then evil is present. Allah is no longer present. The union has been broken. The love thought is no longer on the manifest. Oh, we're going to make it plain tonight. We're going to let you know that we ain't dealing with no spook. So evil is the handwork of man. When you misuse your mind, because the hand is symbolic to the mind, due to its ability to think, will, reason, understand, remember, to mold, to obtain, and retain. The hand is symbolic to the mind. Evil is the handwork of man. If you ain't thinking right, it ain't coming out right. If you ain't thinking right, you ain't got nothing right coming to you. I don't care how much you try to dress it up and make it seem like what it ain't. So this is the powerful aspect. Ashburn will come up here. You know, Ashburn said, well, the seeds don't germinate in the light. They don't grow until they find the soil to hide themselves away from the light. Man was evolved as a seed of everlasting light. But in the ethers of the triune law, the light was far too great for the seeds to grow. So man sought the soil of carnal life, and in the darkness of the earth, he found a place where he could germinate and grow. So it's necessary, after being a light being, you know, being transported by means of panspermia. That's the scientific model, by the way. Seeded in the proper soil as a light being, as they call it, Mayar. One germinates and they grow in the darkness of the earth. So at some time, our people that are dealing with being caught up on your melanin, you know, and talking about the black land that the black man came from and all this type of drawing, at some time, you have to unfold, germinate, and grow and penetrate the surface of the earth to be seen as you truly are. And just because a particular tree comes from dark soil or black soil, that doesn't make that tree be a black tree. When you have that dark soil down there and that apple tree come up out of there, from the apple seed, it come out of apple tree. It's not called a black apple tree. When you plant that orange seed, and orange is another color, ain't it? Apples come out red, don't they? That orange seed was planted in black soil, but when that orange seed penetrate the surface of the earth, it come forth as an orange tree with oranges. If you're dealing with a peach tree, coming from a peach seed, and we ain't talking about Peachtree Street in Atlanta. But if you coming from a peach seed and you manifest and you rise through the surface of the soil, you come forth as a peach tree. You're not black because you came from black soil. It's just the environment that was conducive to your growth and development. So when you came out of the soil, you know, of soul, you didn't come forth as no black man. You didn't come forth as Negro. You didn't come forth as color on somebody's color of law. You came forth being the complete make of the great God as a God man. We take on the hue of Allah, the color of Allah. And that ain't got nothing to do with the color that you produce with color crayons. That ain't got nothing to do with the color that you produce from markers and that which deal with demonstrating staining and varnishing things and dyeing things. Allah's color is Sebagatullah. Allah's color is the mold and the law, the postulates. Spirit clothed with soul made in the form of Allah. Arm, leg, arm, head. So you was planted as a spirit seed in dark soil. Yeah, it tell you in the Grand Quran, yeah, man was planted in Hamayim. They translate that as black mud or dark mud. But that don't make you no black man and black woman, people. Make it make sense now. If an apple tree ain't no black tree, an orange tree ain't no black tree, a peach tree ain't no black tree coming from black soil, then why you got to be a black man coming from black soil? See, we got to stop limiting ourselves to the plane of things made manifest. You got a nationality. You got a divine creed, people. Accept your own and be yourself. And closing out, you know, Ashburn went on to say, He said, the seed is taking root and grown full well. The tree of life is raising from the soil of earthly things, and on the natural law is reaching up to perfect form. What does that have to do with you? Why is it necessary for a tree of life to rise from the soil of earthly things on the natural law and reach up to perfect form? What does that have to do with you? Don't get me talking about this tree of life now. All that represent different stages of your unfoldment. That's what the tree of life represents. But you have to rise from the soil of earthly things. In the tree of life, the earth is referred to Asia. Look up tree of life in the 10 Sephirot. The lowest is Asia. And you wonder why you refer to as an Asiatic when it comes to dealing with being earthbound. But when you go all the way back up into the realms of where you come from, then you understand the highest planes from whence the wisdom became manifest. You know, where you can become a perfect form. There are no supernatural acts of Allah to lift man from corner life to spirit blessedness. Ain't no spook coming to do that for you. Nothing supernatural, no abracadabra, hokum pokum. You know, this can only come if you allow it to be manifest through you. But you got to get rid of that ego. And he grows as the plant grows. The plant in due time is perfected. The quality of soul that makes it possible for man, the master of Allah's nature, Moorish American national, to rise to spirit life is purity. And we're going to stop right there, Moorish Ken. We just wanted to revisit the ayats as I measure in our measure to make it plain. You know? So give me 1 second here. You know, it don't get no plainer than the truth. Praise be to Allah and honors to his holy prophet and the prophets in plural. We ain't dealing with no spooks. We dealing with the reality. So that being said, we're going to open up the floor so that we can hear from our Moorish kin and hear their perspectives on this Moorish perspectives. Islamism without the schism. Peace and love. Star 6 your phone, Moors. Islamism.
Gratitude, yes. Islamism. This is Divine Minister Michael Day in the North Carolina territory. Once again, I rise and give praise to the great God and honor to our fathers, noble to Ali, and honor to our citizens, our officials, and our village. Praise be to our God. Yes, and honor to this class. But, God, man, you surely made it plain. Praise Allah for you. You know, this is truly a wonderful time that we're living in for it to be made manifest in truth to us in this time, you know, and it bears witness to the fact that how we manifest the Holy Breath. You know, because we meditate and we go within, and so does the Savior. And they let us know the highest idea. And that's to bring it into reality, not to spook God that's going to come out of the clouds of glory. Well, whatever you might think it means, you made it plain to that. Because we know that he speaks in a still small voice that speaks in the heart. And in doing so, we accept that circle 7. That's how Holy Quran. You know, and we love our principles being given to us as love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. You know, and we have to do this to free the captive souls, that's in the chamber of the dead because they walk around not knowing. It's not your fault that you don't know, but this is why we here. To bring the wisdom, the will, and the love to enlighten your heart and minds and humanity. Our sister Nancy, you have really inspired a whole lot of us, and you make it plain how we're the ones that the sisters to have been destined, ordained to receive the mystic name and number and of a clean and pure nation to our holy prophet from Allah. He makes it plain that Allah is now one. And it made me think about the study of death lessons that we come to learn and study in the great work of studying the stuff. The free and the deed captive souls from their sinful ways of thinking. The life is spent to make money and to be trained to work for selfish desires to become thieves and extortioners, and hoes and drug dealers. For these gods are nothing but death in the shadows of the vile heart of the lower self. And this measure that you have brought here today has definitely uplifted us to the degree that we know that the temple is the house of Allah. And we know where love, this is where the love is kindness love. And, the Saviors come to make us aware that all of this greatness is within ourselves. We are the love. We are the child. Because we have accepted the truth that has been given to us by our Holy Prophet of the and we accept the fact that we have been redeemed. And we can be kind and just, and still be filled with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It's not a crime. But out there in the world, they make it seem like there's something wrong with being divine. That's why, we're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed so that they can come in and know who made them. But they know that it's nothing wrong. Matter of fact, it's right. Because it is being divine, being God-like, in whose image we have been made and created to be. And I love the fact that we can purify our hearts and our minds with this love to master our own minds and be at one with Allah. Because we know that He is with us. And we know that He is no scapegoat. And we know that we are His people. We know that we are His chosen to redeem our people from their sinful ways. So gratitude and thank you for the lesson. Peace and love.
And gratitude and peace and love, brother, for the droid. Thank you for your contribution. All right. Are there any other Moors who would like to come forth and exercise their fire? Let the world know you're alive. Islamism, sister.
Islam, thus injuring the occurred debate. First, let me rise up your praises to our great God Allah, give honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, give honors to Act 1, I give honors to all my government officials, and I give honors to you. That's set the grand sheet for this powerful class tonight, coming from our ayat 4 in our holy Quran. upon the 7 postulates. These sages would formulate the law of life of the coming age, that souls may rest. And I tell you, that souls may rest stood out to me too. And I tell you, you really did made it plain for us. You know, when you was talking about dealing with this ayat, and I loved it when you talked about how you know we are predestined to be here. You know, at this time, and that let me know when it talked about that the souls may rest, and we can see when you look around, we can see that our people souls need rest because they are in discord. They are all in turmoil. It reminds me of the chapter when Yehoshua the people were toiling, and they were just toiling and toiling and toiling. Didn't have no joy. Didn't have no kind of peace. You know, they were just going through the motion. And that's why, you know, when you talking about this is a powerful idea. And when you talk about the postulates and how we, you know, we are the postulates, and how we have to be patient with our people. We have to take this message to our people, just like the sages here that we are reading about in this chapter. We got to do like them also. We got to see our people and see where they at, and then go to them and reach them where they at, not putting them down, beating them up, and showing that love, that unity, coming together. And I love it how when you give that example of when they was bringing our people over here on that ship, and I think one of them ships was called the Good Ship Jesus, you know, and but our people, they wasn't on the bottom of that ship worrying about what religion you were, worrying about if you was a Muslim or Moorish Science Temple or not a Christian. They weren't worried about that. It's like you say, they was focusing on getting to the top and being free. And that's what we in this day and time, and that's why the prophet is giving us his supreme laws, because we got his general laws, and it's time out, like you say, it's time out for playing. It's time for us to rise up and take our place and do the work, get this work done, because our people are out there waiting on us. They are waiting on us, and we get to be just like Men's Day and Video Party, and be just like them. We got to be patient with our people and let them and meet them where they are, but yet show them how we are unified. Show them how we really be saying the same thing, but you might say it in a different way, like what you have shown us. You might be saying it in a different way, but we talk about the same thing. Like you talk about the Hebrew, we talk about the circle 7. They talk about 7 too. It may not be the same way we talk about it, but it's still the 7. Oh God, man, this is a powerful class, and due to time, I'm gonna stop right there. But I tell you, this is powerful. Definitely got to go back and listen to the playback. Gratitude for letting me share. Peace and love.
And gratitude, Goddess and Queen, for the measure. Praise be to Allah for that love thought. And we second all the motion, that you brought forth from that grand droid. Praise be to Allah. Well, all right. Is there any other more that would like to come forth and exercise their fire? The floor is still open, Moors. Ain't no church mile quiet going on up in here. What my Grand National Secretary of State at? We finna start drafting. Islam, brother Herube.
Islam.
Islam, grand man. Gratitude. Opening the floor. Let me first rise and give all praise to our Father God Allah, honors to our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, honors to the Moorish American government, and honors to you for this beautiful class, our Moorish perspectives, and this is a grand demonstration that you came forth with, with beautiful clarity and power, and we see how, our Prophet Noble Drew Ali and Allah has, sent us a message of the seven sages and of our time, so that we can come into our grand revelation, so we can be the seventh of our time and of our family. And it was just a grand revelation that you brought forth, Islam. You come forth from the ayat 4 upon the seven postulates. These sages will formulate the law of life of the coming age that souls may rest. Islam. And you broke down this word postulate, and it's just a grand revelation. The title of our chapter is "The Meeting of the Seven Sages to Make Law for the Coming Ages for the Nations of the Earth." Islam. And so, today I'm just so honored, because I had some confusion. I must be honest that I had some confusion about the revelation and the understanding of the postulate and what it meant for myself. I knew the definition, but to get the true breakdown of the seven and of the postulates and how this really ties into our revelation as a spiritual being and ruling in the nations of the earth, it really came into manifest today, and I honor the teachings for that. What came to my mind, and when you came forth with the breakdown, is how we, from a spiritual perspective, we chose to gratify our lower self and come into this physical perspective, and the sages, they brought forth that this is a choice that we made so that we can become stronger. As you spoke about how the spirit seed, he chose to bury himself in the darkness so that he might grow. And it's just a grand revelation. Sometimes we ask ourselves, why were we born, or why did we go through this suffering, or why do we know things that other people are not privy to, and why is it that we are bearing the weight? But it is to so that we might grow. And there's a verse in the Bible that says that Allah or God doesn't put on us more than we can bear. And so just for us to be able to bear the postulates and bear the prophet and to bear Allah, and to come forth with these revelations, and to know that we have that spirit of Allah within us. It's a very sacred demonstration to understand that our actions, thoughts, and deeds are connected with the great God Allah. And it makes everything that we do have a deeper perspective. And everything that we have come through, it definitely has deeper perspective. And when you spoke about this postulates of the seven, it's so many elements of the seven in our Moorish American government. But I thought about our acts, 7 acts, our divine constitution, and it's so beautiful, and it teaches us how to rule. It teaches us how to rule ourselves. It teaches us who we are so that we can make law in the coming age for the nations of the earth and to unify ourselves and to unify our government. And so, it's just a grand revelation. And I'm so thankful to be here in this Moorish American government so that I may learn and I might teach. Islam and peace.
And Islam and peace to you as well, grand man. We give honors to you for that drawing. Praise be to Allah for all that you do. Islam. Well, all right. Islam. Or
Islam. Grand class. It's the National Grand Sheik. I don't got that much time left, I know. This is Sean Washington Elmo Tut Raw Bayo from the Michigan Consulate. Arise and give all praise to the great God Allah. I give all honors to the Prophet, last Prophet of all times, Noble Drew Ali. I give all honors to this theocratic government, the theocratic Morse government flag. I give all honors to Marcus Garvey, the Book of Fire, 101s, 102s, the Book of Ali, the Hadiths. Oh, this is a grand class tonight, dealing with the 7. Wow. We are, the Prophet, when he came back over here, he gave us the 7. He studied in Egypt, the so-called Egypt over there, and that all that came from our ancient mother fathers. The whole world is using the 7. You might, people might, if they gamble, they go on these venues, you're going to see in the casinos, you're going to see the triple 3 7s. It's all codes out here, You got all these, these other organizations I was listening, you got the Hebrew Israelites, they are Moors, they're not Hebrews, but they supposed to be Moors, nationals. You got the Supreme 7, all that, all these organizations that's using it, what the Prophet had brought us, and they don't matter if you in a Moor Zion temple, you still are using the Circle 7, or you are a so-called black Muslim, you still using the 7. If you pray 7 times a day, Christianity, so-called Christians, they using the 7. In this government, we using the 7. We got everything in this government, but the government is ran by 12. I lead this government every day. And and a lot of these people that they call up in these titles out here, it don't matter. You still under, like you say, you still under that Circle 7. You got all these other branches, form of governments, like the Republic. They using the 7, which the Prophet didn't bring all that to us. Like over there, countries across the the other lands, they dealing with the numbers too, and all that is from us. We was the founders of everything. The letters, the numbers, science, which is not science, that is still a science. Well, it's good to be in this government, which I didn't learn this in the organizations, the temples. They don't teach, they don't teach like in this said government right here, national government, and all these other organizations. They're not really giving the facts, the whole facts. Even in the so-called Christianity, they're not about the 7. This is grand class, peace and love, Islam.
Islam and peace and love. Gratitude, brother. They don't have what we have over here to teach. But Islam, we supposed to teach them and bring them into the knowledge. Well, all right. Is there any other more that would like to come forth and give their portion before we get ready to go to our officials? You mean to tell me we ain't got no more biting at the bit to talk about the meeting of the 7 sages to make law for the coming nations? Sound like don't nobody want to do the work then, huh? But Allah is leading on, and victory is sure, family. You know, we give honors to all of you on the front line. You got your pant leg and your sleeve rolled up, you know, for the prophet. Islam, I hear somebody lying over me. I know you coming forth. Who that is? I know good and well you ain't got the line over me. You ain't coming forth. Islam?
Islam.
Islamism, goddess.
I apologize. That was me trying to work Jehudi's phone. What a different apparatus. Islam. This I can't relate my aunt name. I rise and I give praises to our great God, Allah, and honors to our divine prophet, Noble to Ali. Honors to our Moorish American government flag, silver emblem. Honors to Act One. Honors to our Moorish perspectives, and to you, as I always say, how you share your knowledge, your wisdom with us. And you're not trying to sell it. I give honors to everything Moorish, to our lesson, our Moorish American prayer. I give honors to those that spoke before me and those that will speak after me. I just want to bring forth Allah just brought to my thoughts from Ayah 31 to 35, when he says, and so man sought the soil of carnal life, and in the darkness of earth he found a place where he could germinate and grow. The seed has taken root and grown full well. And I'm just going to stop there, 31 and 32. It just makes me relate to myself, how it made me reflect on how I observed, the way I learned, the way I brought on the manifest myself, because I was a timid person. I was a timid young girl, and up to my adulthood, until I gained some self-confidence. And those ayats made me think about how I related to, I wasn't hiding, but I would germinate and grow in the privacy of my own way of learning. I wouldn't bring forth my thoughts until, or even any activity of anything. I wouldn't discuss anything with anyone unless I had got to myself, observed the situation, studied the situation, and I wouldn't bring it forth until I knew what I was talking about. I didn't just jump out having a conversation or jumping in conversations that I knew nothing about. And that's what these ideas made me think about, how, in the darkness of the earth, I found a place where I could germinate and grow. So if someone was discussing a matter, especially if I was interested in it, I would go and study what they were talking about, or research what they were talking about. And it also just brought to mind how when we became citizens of this government, I had never heard of chakras before. And when you were speaking about it, Dr. Shaid, I was so interested in it, like, wow, let me look this up, let me research these chakras, and I was so fascinated, and in a way I got angry that the studies of the chakras weren't taught in our schools. But we know why they weren't taught, because they didn't want us to know how powerful we are, how powerful we can be, how we can heal ourselves, how we can come out of mental slavery. And so, that's what I did, even in this demonstration where we are. I get to myself and I study and I look up words, and if I don't know or don't understand something, most of the time I don't want to drop something that I know is busy all the time, and I'll go and research myself. And if I have a question or something that I can't find the answer to, I'll bring it forth to whomever I believe has the knowledge about the matter. But I just wanted to share that about how Allah just brought that to my thoughts about the being in the darkness of the earth and finding a place to germinate, and then the seed has taken root and grown full well. And that was my understanding of those ayats as it related as I reflected in my life. So gratitude for the freedom that you all have provided for us to be ourselves and express ourselves. Peace and love.
And gratitude and peace and love to you as well, Goddess and Queen, for that grand drawing. And coming up out of that special soil, you most definitely have become manifest as a lotus, Goddess, and we give honors to you for all of the motherly virtues that the great God Allah has placed within you to bring forth Islamism without the schism. And at this time, we want to give honors to everybody who came forth to exercise their fire, letting the world know that you are alive and well. And we give honors to you. And at this time, we're going to begin to call on our officials, starting with our Assistant National Grand Secretary of the State, Grand National Secretary of the State, Sister Alseta Moonell. Islam, you there, sister? Well, praise be to Allah. We know the sister about our Father's business. Let's call on our National Grand Mufti, Dr. Kanchu Mark Heru Bey. Islam, you there, Grand Man?
Islam.
Islamism without the schism.
Praise Allah. We ride giving all thanksgiving, adoration, worship, and praise to our Father God, Allah, the great God of the universe, the most beneficent and the most wise, and we give the highest honor that we can give to his prophet, our prophet, the last prophet in these days and in these times, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, El Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, the savior of humanity. We give honor to his forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and we give honor to his government, our government, the Moorish American government, the government in which we live, according to Act 6. We give honor to the officials of this said government, our divine ministers, swift angels, our mufti, our royal council, our secretaries. We give honor to our citizens, the Moorish Americans. We give honor to our flag, our divine constitution and bylaws, our Holy Quran, our Grand National Seal, our Grand National Emblem, our Book of Fire, the Exhuman of a Nation. We give honor to everything that is Moorish,
We give a special high honor to you, National Sister Grand Chief, for this Moorish perspective this evening. We give honor to all of our Moorish kin who have spoken before us, to our Moorish kin that will speak after us. We give honor to you, angels. We just continue to give the honors where they're due, and honor all true and divine prophets. We give honors to our ancestors as they have come before us, leading the way. And we honor them today without doubt and contradiction, because no one has the power to change man from his descent nature. And praise the Lord, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. It's been a grand con, Muslim, and you definitely brought, the law dealing with these postulates and dealing with the understanding that there comes a time when one's got to come forth with what they have in order to, as you said, be used by Allah to direct the course of His people. It made me think back to when we first, the Grand Sheik first brought forth the Royal Council, and we was coming up with the understanding of the duties, and this is the chapter where it came out of. This is where the Royal Council comes out of, this chapter in itself, and understanding that in this day and age, the sages in this government have come together to formulate, the law for the land, law for our nation and people, to move forward in this time period, to move forward from general laws into the supreme laws that are to govern the Moorish Americans. And as we can see, from what we brought out, that it took effect. The only problem is what we have seen is that ones have taken what we brought forth, and they tried to take it and twist it, take it over here to create splinter groups instead of just obeying the law. And in the government in which brought forth what these ones wanted to take in and try to twist, because they seen the truth of the matter in. And that's one of the key issues now with our people and our unity is that, like if one doesn't feel like they ate the heat or they came forth with the message, then they will demonstrate, as you said, the unity of it, the unifying aspect of it. That like ones had a mental how do these ones have the audacity? Like, how could Allah have the audacity to give these measures to someone else besides myself? When I think I know everything, or I think I know what is best. And how can Allah give this measure to someone else when I feel like I'm the one truly worthy of demonstrating His blessing? And that's the ego thing. And that's where one is really caught up, or what I see one is caught up in the fact that they don't think that Allah, Allah bless somebody else, it just ain't right. Unless they can be blessed, unless they be the one through which all the blessings come. And that's a thought pattern that we got to get rid of as a people. That it's all right for someone else to shine their light, and it doesn't dim your light, and it doesn't make you any less important or any less valuable to the movement. But this is not a one-man movement, one-woman movement. This is a national and divine movement in which, we demonstrating nationhood. The nationality is the order of the day, and this is what we own. And so we have brought forth as a nation, understanding that the law is that it's supposed to be active. You know, that the prophet brought forth the postulates for this day and age in this government. As we have already expounded as a government many times, dealing with the Grand Sheik and the chairman, assistant Grand Sheik, prophet, these laws. You know, we dealing with the grand body. I mean, we dealing with understanding that this is where we're going, and there's no problem. There shouldn't be never any problem with it, because what we have brought forth is what the prophet has deemed us to bring forth. It's not a change of anything. It's not a mix. It's not an add. It's just unfoldment. And chapter 1 tells us that one is unfolded. As the bud unfolds, so the flower. But one's want to continue to look at the bud and think that's the all in all of everything. But the bud must unfold and it's going to unfold when the light is shining on it. And here in our government, we shine on the light. We shine on the light of truth on the bud of every Moorish American, and the ones that's unfolded. Whether they want to recognize it or not, whether they want to honor it or not, one's about this. We've seen so much unfoldment in the last 20 years, that is, one got to recognize what's going on. If you don't recognize what's happening, it's not strange, because there's a lot of ones out there trying to dilute the truth, trying to keep you enslaved, as our prophet say, if you're not careful, your own brother try to enslave you. And that doesn't mean we have to be so cautious that we don't build with each other. It just means we need to be so fortified with this impregnable doctrine that one can't enslave us, that we recognize an enslavement movement or enslavement activity, enslavement scheme, an enslavement pattern in one, that we get away from that demonstration. Nationality is free all over the world. We don't charge you for your nationality in this government. But the more that go to all these other movements, then they want to charge you for paperwork. They want to charge you for this. They want to charge you for that. Everyone can't see the slavery in that. Can't see ones that's demonstrating, trying to be the new slave master, or just trying to profit off of the profit of our noble prophet's work, but without really truly trying to help free the people. Because if one was really trying to help free, you wouldn't put one in the same house. You would be trying to bring them out of this condemned building, the United States government. You would try to bring them out of this burning house. As ones have said before, that ones are steady trying to integrate our people into a demonstration that's on its way out. And so this day and time, the apostles or the sages of the ages have dictated the law, that the law is self-determination. That's the law for this age for the Moorish Americans. Self-determination. Autonomy. Not through war with others, but by building with each other. You ain't got to try to battle this European for some reparations or some autonomy, and when you could put that energy into building with your own people, because there is no weapon that these ones can bring forth that's going to prosper against the God's chosen people. And we in the theocratic government, we are demonstrated that we understand that we are God's people. Not to say that we above or better than anyone, but just to recognize that that's who we know who we are. And that this is what we have to do in order to better ourselves is to become a people unified in our thought pattern and one that honors the law that has been brought forth. And the law is that nationality is the order today, that we're here to teach our people the nationality is the divine creed, that we are here to demonstrate unity with each other and the holy covenant that blesses us all. So gratitude for this class, Malcolm. Gratitude to you, Morris America, for being here with us and giving us the time, attention, respect. We love you. Islam and peace.
Islam and peace to you as well, Brother Mufti. And honors to the tribe. Let us call forth our Grand National Secretary of the State of Moorish America, Sister Sheptu Rakat Ma'at and Pooh, Tutankhamun Bay, the tribe of endurance. You there, Goddess and Queen?
Close as a thought, gratitude.
Gratitude.
Islam, Moorish kin, first of all, want to rise, giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving honor to our Prophet Noble Durrani, the last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our Moorish American government, all of our officials, staff, the angels, muftis, divine ministers, most especially our Moorish kin. We want to give honor to our family online. We want to give honor to Act One. We want to give honor to our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shadow Amenti El-Mahedji Chepsuel, for opening our meeting according to law, and also hosting this Grand Moorish Perspectives class this evening. Giving honor to our Consul General of Texas, Dr. Marvin Edwards Bay, for taking registration and reading our subject chapter for the week. It's been a very grand and powerful class, Dr. Shaheed. Much gratitude to you for hosting this class. Coming from our subject matter upon the 7 postulates. These sages were to formulate the law of life of the coming age that souls may rest. And, you brought forth so many powerful keys. The first thing that stood out to me was the clarity that had to be reiterated in reference to our authority is delegated by the great God. Nothing could be simpler in reference to this is a divine and national movement. And we have got to stop trying to compare and compete with what Rome is doing, has done, will do, or what have you, when we as a people have been blessed with a merciful creator that sent to us a prophet that gave us everything that we need. We got to learn how to take it and make it applicable to the self. When we look at how the sages were bringing forth postulates for the coming age, and how a lot of times in this new era of time, we have those that are focused on what's in it for me, or what am I going to get out of it, things of that nature, as opposed to recognizing that we are on a divine pathway back to our Creator, and in doing so, we have a divine purpose. We're not here willy-nilly, or we're not here to demonstrate fly-by-night degrees, but in essence, we're here to bring forth these keys of truth and not only uplift ourselves, our tribes, but our nation and the rest of the nations of the earth. So we can't afford to continue with a finite mindset. Up the street, round the corner mentality is what I usually state. But in essence, I can't see beyond the next minute or the next hour. When by us looking at it from an infinite perspective, we deal in cycle ages. We deal in what would be best for those coming behind us, the future guidance of the nation. And everything that we do, not only are we creating our history, for those descendants behind us, but also in following the footsteps of our prophet Noble Drew Ali, as you stated, showing not only our tribes, our nation, and the rest of the world how gods are supposed to re-civilize the earth. This is what we have been tasked with, and
this new era of time. And it's not something that's foreign or unheard of because our ancestors demonstrated these degrees in circumnavigating the earth. So another powerful measure in reference to that, when you were speaking about getting out the way and allowing Allah to use you, this is where your wisdom, your understanding comes in, because a lot of times, you know, by us having that God spirit within, we want to go and fix something, you know, but we have to make and allow room for growth when it comes down to those souls that are working out their own life sums. The Hierophant within yourself will let you know if you are able to assist or if you need to let nature take its course. Allow Allah the demonstration to work it out, because we don't know all the innuendos, the ins and outs of this particular person's character. We only go by what a little inkling or a portion of time on what we see. We don't know the past lives and things of that nature, and what the soul is specifically here to learn as far as their lessons are concerned. So we have to be open enough and also patient enough to keep the love out there. You know, a lot of times it takes a kind word or a kind act. You don't have to say anything. Just be there, that they know that you are here to aid and assist, and you continue to drop seeds where you can. Let's see. The other thought that I had in reference to our class this evening is we've been through many, for lack of a better word, board meetings or meeting of the minds when it comes down to, because the chairman that's at Act 1 has always put out in the forefront in reference to bringing our people together. You know, we've had several meetings down through the ages in reference to other thoughts, other entities, other, don't want to use the word sect, but different points of view, and coming together to recognize there's more similarities with us and what is natural to us as opposed to our differences. You know, it's Rome that teaches our people to focus on the differences, you know, as opposed to the things that are natural to us. You know, what do we have in common? You know, how can we come together in unity and build what we need to build, because we see the past several hundred years that this demonstration is not working. You know, speaking about what Rome, the former slave master, slave owner, / has to offer. This is why the prophet speaks about freedom, autonomy, you know, recognizing the need for self-determination, just as other nations have. You know, what good is it saying I'm a Moorish American national, or I'm a spirit in the part of the great God Allah, you know, if the actions don't reflect what the mouth is saying? So, you know, the heart and the tongue can't be at variance. You know, when you see the need, then it's up to you, part of your duty, to fulfill that need, and whatever role is necessary, whether it be sweeping the porch or what have you, building a dome home, you know, tending to the land, gardening. There's so many pathways and duties that we have as Moorish American nationals. We don't have time to look cock at each other, because every position is key. There are no big I's and little U's in this special government. And when we get off that comparison mode, we're able to see that it is necessary for us to come together, because the prophet let us know in our unity is our strength. As long as we keep taking each other off the count, whether it be verbally, whether it be ethereally, whether it be physically, you know, then we're still always at the level of beginning. And that's the mark of a fool. So when we see the necessity, and by this time we should see the necessity that we have got to rise above petty differences, you know, and still getting taken off the count. Well, it ain't happened to me or mine yet. You know, that's a selfish thought. So we've got to recognize that we have been provided tools to be able to come out of this muck and mire and stand and be the nation that the prophet has established. You know, so fear has no place here. Doubt, you know, all kinds of troubled thoughts, all of these are negative creations. So we have got to govern what it is that we create as God. So when we are able to, because that was powerful when you said, are you able to sit down at the table, and be able to demonstrate? It doesn't make a difference if a person is wearing a turban, not wearing a turban. Does he have a fez on? Well, his fez is smaller than mine, or his is purple. I've seen fezzes with polka dots, okay? Stripes and all this other kind of stuff. And the prophet tell you that you're not supposed to demonstrate or mark your fez and things of that nature. But the thing is, we have got to be able to see from a universal level and recognize the fact that these things are petty and small when it comes down to saving lives, to bringing forth those things that are life-giving, those things that are everlasting. So when you can synthesize, it doesn't make a difference who, and come together, unify, and build what it is that you need to build. Everybody has a different job set or assignment or postulate that they have got to bring forth. That's between them and their creator. Also working within the parameters of our divine constitution and bylaws. This is not a one man, as Morris Kenneth stated, it's not a one man, one woman demonstration. There is no single sovereign nothing. Okay? This is a collective thought. And when you know that, realize that one more can put 10,000 to flight, do you know the force and power that you can demonstrate by having that oneness of thought? We are the ones that are creators, and we have to create our own. So, just a powerful class. The prophet has given us the solution to the Negro problem, the solution to the Arabic problem, the Italian problem, the German problem. Okay? We have it all in these 5 principles of divine love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So you can't speak it if you're not being it. So gratitude more for calling me forth. Much peace and love to all of my Moorish kin and fathers.
In Islam, and gratitude with a divine attitude from that measure, Grand Secretary of the State, and we give honors to the love thought, which is the eternal thought. Because the Savior said the eternal thought is one. And we give honors to honors to our holy prophet and praises to the great God Allah for giving us the concept of salvation, our God unity. In other words, our salvation came through our prophet and following his footsteps. Our God is Allah, which comes through our unity. If the triune Allah is on the manifest and expression of the family, then he got to be on the manifest when it comes to our unity. And if that ain't the circle self, I don't know what is. So we say gratitude with a divine attitude. And we just got to get in where we fit in and stay in our divine lane. And we can accomplish a whole lot along the way. Islamism without the schism. And speaking of Islamism without the schism and all the wisdom coming from on high, let us call forth our grand national chairman, also from the tribe of endurance, Dr. Akin Acton Pert M. Heru, who you with, Tutankhamun Bay. You there, grand man?
Close to the store. Can you hear me?
Oh, man, with divine wisdom vibrating the ethers. Who can't hear all that, God, man?
Alhamdulillah, let me give praises to Allah on to the last hour of these days and time that brought us everything that it takes to save a nation. Our divine constitution, our prayer, our holy Quran, our flag, banners, a silver emblem, everything. We've got it, and more now is stand to be reasonable by being yourself. Realize, once you recognize the fact that you know who made you and why, and you realize your purpose for life, because this is life. It ain't nothing, there ain't no life without it. So when it comes down to the sacredness of our mission, I want to give much honor to the last time of these days and time that brought us everything. And when we look at these 7 postulates,
and the sages, the divine ministers. Oh man, woo! It's just a mighty mission. I was, got the title of Surveyor number 1, but see, this is not a mistake. This is a mission, and to be the Surveyor number 1, I just got a job to do, and they got to get on the front line and stay there all the time. Why? Because the coming age where the soul may rest, yeah. Well, you can rest in the coming age, all right. But the thing about it is, you got a job to do. And it's called divine and national movement. So it's a wonderful thing, boy. So it's an honor. And thank you so much for keeping the Quran out and the lessons and things out front. These 7 postulates and sages, that we are the ones that are so gifted and blessed to have them. Islamism without the schism.
Islamism without the schism. We give honors to the tribe of endurance for breathing forth, as it states, the 7, the Mother, the Father, and the Son, in reference to dealing with the spirit of love, and 7 spirits being on the manifest in this new era and time. In reverence to the apostles, we give honors to you, grand man, in the tribe. And speaking of the tribe, let us call forth our national grand sheik, Dr. Serapis Amin Rael. Islamism, you there, grand man?
Here, there, and everywhere, Angel.
Oh man, sheik, goodness gracious, we can't wait to hear from you.
Well, y'all already heard from each time a soldier, an angel, or a citizen or member, whoever repeats the words of our delicate prophet and his Father God Allah also speak for them, big brothers, and we appreciate that. This has been a very powerful examination, going through the root of how one builds a lesson. You have to understand from that building of the lesson where one gets the divine blessing. He told us several times this evening about keeping on, I want to say hot, because that gets rid of all the dust and rust and everything. Gives one an opportunity and the ability to be a God's self, moving in the science of building a family, a tribe, and an organization, to be organized in the work of what we have been assigned to do. We all come to this earth for a reason. And I think this is what I was getting this evening about. We come to this earth for a reason. All of us have a purpose for being here. All of us have a purpose for seeing things in the core, what our ancient forefathers and mothers saw. But we see that the work has to be done, as the chief said, and that's correct. We all got to do it. And it's going to take this organization or this grand divine nature to make things unfold the way they should be and not be told the way they must be. So in this context, we give a lot of praise, adoration, and thanksgiving for whatever we got, whatever we do. Allah is for us and we are for you. Praise Allah. January 15, 1929, a warning from the prophet. We read it all me. I hereby inform all citizens, they must end all radical, agitated speech, while the word in the homes on the street. We are for peace and not destruction.
Stop that cars the Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember your cars for your salvation. They do a baby God is a beautiful spirit come. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these films are violated, just demonstrate the cause. Any citizen or group of citizens who openly fulfill toward the covenant or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Lord's movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law and they down them by the prophet. They lose confidence in their prophet. It's just telling their card to play. Each one of the servants fed and returned to the state where the prophet found it. This is the holy divine movement founded by the prophet to the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The order of the prophet. This is divine mission, prophet, Lord through Ali. And if the prophet ain't right, the government ain't right. Prophet therefore setting out the divine plea to all more Samaritans to do their part to protect the prophet and the government. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet to the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. By all the prophet, Lord through Ali. This divine warning is this supreme law and will be enforced by the said government hereby. Islam. The only government of the Asiatic nation. The year of the children of one father divided for by his care, and the rest of one mother has given his children. The bonds of affection therefore unite to without rebel. His teaching absence may dwell in my father's house. And when you separate in the world, remember the relation that binds you to love and unity. And prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brothers in adversity assist you, if thy sisters in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of my Father contribute to support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all, and your love to each other. Islam. This meeting is put to close according to Act 2 of our divine constitution, and love to peace, freedom, justice. Go in peace, Muslim. Islam. And
Great class, National Assistant Grand. Very powerful class. Great class. That's all you can
I couldn't get out my seatbelt, Sister Grand.
great class.
Islam, we love you, Moors. We love you. Islam. Honest to you for the love, thought boys. All right, let's get ready for the prophet's measure tomorrow. Islamism without the schism. Sunday school from which the guides of the guiders of the nation arise. Peace and love. Want to give honor to our family that showed up. You know, Noble Bryan, Kamaat, Akuja Huda Bay, Charles Warrior, Cena Renee, Kamaat, again, Born Dog. We give honor to all of y'all. You know, Ron Hawk Bay, BA, and the Tyrese L as well. So gratitude, boy. We love you. Come on home to Moorish America. I told you, just because we come about that soil, don't make us the soil. Islam, boys. You the seed that came through the soil. Peace and love.
Islam.
Islam.
This is Sister Grand.
Goodbye.